Hey everybody, welcome to the midweek check-in. We are back. Happy 2022. I hope that you had an awesome Christmas season and that you're having a good new year so far. I don't know if you know this, but around here we are starting our Lectio Divina journals. Now that doesn't mean our groups are starting quite yet. Those are going to start at the end of January. But these journals, which here's the front, looks like this if you did the pre-order, looks like this, but I will also say on the inside, they're dated. So this one says January 6th right here. It goes this way, January 6th. They are dated, so you actually can start. They started on January 1st. If you didn't get a chance to start yet, it is okay. Don't freak out. It's not one of those things like we're either doing it or we're not doing it. It's one of those things where we're engaging as best we can, as consistently as we can, and once groups start, it will really help get in the flow of that. Now, if you have checked out your new Lectio Divina journal and you have seen some interesting stuff along with the dates, something like, for example, even today it still says it's Christmas. This journal actually goes along with something called the liturgical calendar. And I know that's a little bit confusing because it's not something we necessarily press into here at Living Word all that much, but a lot of traditional denominations do. So I want to explain it to you a little bit. The liturgical calendar actually follows the birth, the life, the death and the resurrection of Jesus in a couple of different ways. So basically the beginning of the liturgical calendar is Advent. We just went through that season, went through the 4 weeks before Christmas, so the 4 weeks before Jesus's birth. So that's called Advent. It's kind of the beginning of the liturgical calendar. Then Christmas, and for 12 days, it's kind of where they get this idea, the 12 days of Christmas, that is considered Christmas season. So it goes from the 25th of December to about the 6th of January. And then on the 6th of January, it switches over, and you'll see here, even like I showed you on the January 6th here, it literally says in my journal, Thursday, Epiphany of the Lord. Epiphany essentially is the 13th day after the 12 days of Christmas. And what it does is it actually commemorates or celebrates the revelation of the Son of God as human being in Jesus Christ. A lot of people also believe that this is kind of when the Magi or the wise men showed up to see Jesus and to bring their frankincense and myrrh. Maybe, maybe not. Again, we don't have a great timeline as far as like what that really looked like, but that's kind of the idea. Then after Epiphany, it goes into something called ordinary time, which that sounds really boring, but essentially it's just ordinary time. It would have been a part of Jesus's life. So from the time of Epiphany and the realization that when Jesus was born, he was God in the human flesh, and then kind of goes into ordinary time until we head into the commemoration and the reflection of the death of Jesus, which would of course begin with Ash Wednesday and into the Lent season. So you'll see that too within our dated days in our journals here with our Lectio Divina journal. It'll say Lent, right? It'll kind of go into that. And though that is kind of, I forget how many days, it's like the 30 some odd days before Easter. And then we go into celebrating and commemorating the resurrection of Jesus, which is Easter all the way to Pentecost. Easter to Pentecost, that's 50 days. Penta means 50. And Pentecost, of course, as we know, or you can see this in the book of Acts, you can see where that is the Holy Spirit, where the Holy Spirit came down and dwells among believers, right? Dwells inside of us. He kind of comes and makes his home, he tabernacles inside of us. That's commemorating that. And then essentially it goes back to ordinary time until it starts all over again with Advent. So essentially the liturgical calendar really focuses on really commemorating and reminding us of the life, the death, the resurrection, getting us really focused on Jesus as we live out the hours and the days of our lives as they kind of tick by and they go by. It's another really good way, another really good reason to do something like the Lectio Divina journal. It really helps us to focus on him, keep our eyes and our ears and our minds and our hearts really focused on who he is, what he did, what he does in our lives even today. So really kind of orients our heart towards that, as opposed to just focusing on him during Christmas or Easter, kind of making space for him every single day of our lives. And that's what we hope for you for 2022. We encourage you to get plugged in, whether you bought one of the pre-order journals, or you can go over to their website, the place where we ordered them. There's a link on our website. You can click on there and you can order a different journal. They don't have the personalized personalized ones like we have here, but they do have journals that look exactly the same. They go along with what we're reading every single day. You can also download their app. There's lots and lots of different ways to get plugged in. But as a community, as a collective community, let's all engage with the Lord's Word, right? Engage with the Bible, engage with scriptures, all together as a way to focus and orient our hearts and minds toward Jesus. And don't forget to sign up for groups. They're not starting till the end of the month, but there are plenty of them to choose from. This is such an awesome way to connect and grow here at Living Word. All right, you guys, well, until next week, I hope you're doing great, and I can't wait to see you then. Have a great week.